Hi guys, hope you're well today. Today's video is a video I've wanted to film for a while, and I've been so busy with college work that I haven't had the time to do it, but I'm sitting down today and I'm filming. So the show I want to talk about is Sleeping Beauty by Matthew Bourne. This is a show I went to see at Newcastle Theatre Royal a few weeks ago, and I just have to say, basically, to start off, I loved it. I first saw Matthew Bourne's Edward Scissorhands last year, and I'd never heard of him before, never seen him before or anything of his work, but I fell in love with Edward, and when Sleeping Beauty announced it was coming up north, I thought, hey, I've got to go and get a ticket to this. And one of the best things about it was one of my favourite dancers, Ashley Shaw, is in this production, as well as having been in Edward. In Edward I saw her as Kimmy Boggs, the main role, and she has the main role in this. She is playing Aurora, and she was absolutely amazing. She's so beautiful. I hate her. She's just gorgeous. She's got this innocent, pretty face, and she just looks like a princess. And her dancing was spectacular, and her love interest is called Leo, and he was played by Chris Trenfield, and he was very good. I wouldn't say to me he's physically attractive, but he was a very, very brilliant hero, good dancing, and yeah, he danced so beautifully with Ashley, and it was beautiful to see them dancing together. And then his later scenes with Count Lilac were also very, very good, and yeah, I just loved the pair of them together. They danced so well. I mentioned Count Lilac, and he was played at the performance I was at by Liam Mower, who is an original Billy Elliot from Billy Elliot in London, and the role of Count Lilac, he's like he is a fairy, but the show's got a twist, and he plays a certain kind of fairy who has quite a big part to play in Leo's life, played by Chris Trenfield. And again, all the dancing from all the cast was spectacular, and I've only seen Edward Scissorhands as a show where speech at all wasn't needed, and everything was so interpreted through the dance. And Count Lilac had the most beautiful costume. That's another thing as well. All the costumes in the ballet were absolutely beautiful and dazzling, and yeah, so Liam Mower, he was really, really good, and I was sat on the second row, and seeing facial expressions for me really, really helped to interpret to me what was happening, and Liam Mower was really, really good at that. And then I come to Adam Maskell, who plays the roles of Carabosse and Caradoc. And Carabosse is the dark fairy in Sleeping Beauty. She's the equivalent to Maleficent in the Disney movie, and yeah, she's not in it for very long, but she obviously has a very important part in it. And then that Carabosse is played by Adam Maskell, like I said, and then he plays her son Caradoc, and he just managed to convince me so well of how evil he was through his dance. His dance was kind of like whereas the others are all more graceful and light and good, and yeah. Really loved Adam Maskell. I've seen him in Edward Scissorhands. A lot of the cast who are in this have been in Edward Scissorhands, but I've seen them in different roles. Like, say, Adam Maskell, brilliant. I also saw Mari Kamata, who I'd previously seen in Edward Scissorhands, and she stood out for me. She played the Fairy of Passion, Ardor, I think, at the performance I was at, and I don't know why, she just in particular stood out for me. I was really impressed with her. So the story of Matthew Bourne's Sleeping Beauty is like this. It starts off in 1890, and it starts off with Once Upon a Time on a curtain, and then it starts off with Baby Aurora, and Baby Aurora was really cleverly done. They had a puppet, and it wasn't just a puppet controlled by one person, it was two people with sticks and like obviously they were covered in black, so you couldn't see, with a black background. And then there were times when baby Aurora was in the cot and receiving gifts from the fairies, and she sort of like managed it. She looked really lifelike, even from second row. The baby Aurora was very, very lifelike and engaging, and the way the fairies danced around her and danced with her, making us laugh and smile, it was really, really nice. The story then moves to 1911, so 21 years later, when Aurora comes of age, and she is being wooed basically by all these suitors, and the king and queen, her parents, are trying to encourage her. And Caradoc comes along, and he finally carries out the curse that Caraboss, the Maleficent character, had initiated all those years ago. Whereas it's not a spinning needle, it's actually in this production a rose that does it, a certain colour rose. And so obviously Aurora touches the rose and she goes into an eternal sleep. So then Count Lilac comes back and he like makes Aurora safe, and then poor Leo, because Leo and Aurora have been courting secretly because he's actually the gardener. Leo wants to help her, but it isn't time, because Aurora has to sleep for 100 years. So Count Lilac is, like I said, a very special kind of fairy, and he does something to Leo that allows Leo to be there 100 years later, which then takes us up to 2011, and that starts off really well. That's the start of Act 2, and there's like teenagers taking selfies and stuff on the stage in front of the grand old castle that's now locked off. And yeah, then Act 2 is mainly about Leo overcoming many demons and things to get to Aurora and give her the kiss of life and true love's kiss and come back to life again. And then Act 2 is when Leo goes to fight Aurora. And then there's Act 4, which is all within the same second half. It's split into 2 halves, but there's 4 acts, which apparently is the norm for ballet. Act 4 is about Aurora in Caradoc's clutches, and Caradoc does something where Leo finds Aurora and wakes her up, but then there's a twist and all of a sudden Aurora's getting married. And although Leo is like a hero in waking Aurora up, it's actually Count Lilac to me who's the hero, because he does defeat the evil baddie. I'm trying not to give away too many spoilers, but Count Lilac to me is the actual hero, because he's the one that defeats the baddie so that Leo and Aurora can live happily ever after. And then it ends with like this very twisted gothic ending. It is called a gothic romance, and it does end certainly very differently to any story and version of Sleeping Beauty that I've ever heard, but I absolutely loved it. I loved how twisted it was and in places, and how different it was. The music was by Tchaikovsky. They kept the the music of Tchaikovsky of Sleeping Beauty the same, but I think Matthew Bourne has his own spin on the choreography that's different from a traditional Sleeping Beauty ballet. And it was really wonderful. Like, there were times in the show, because I've seen the Disney movie so many times, and that I didn't realise used some of Tchaikovsky's music, so it used, when I heard it in the ballet, I was really surprised. There was a whole dance sequence where bits of "I know you, I walked with you once upon a dream," there was that used, and I was like, I know that bit, I know it. And it got me really excited. And there was a bit at the end as well, and I can't remember. I think it was in the battle sequence, you know, in the Disney movie where Prince Philip's fighting the dragon. Well, they had that with Leo and Count Lilac and Caradoc, which was really, really good. And like I said, the choreography was stunning. Like, it was brilliant, if not more amazing than Edward Scissorhands. And after seeing the show, I wanted so badly to get another ticket and go and see the evening performance. Unfortunately, I couldn't because it was sold out, because Matthew Bourne is a genius. He really is. So, like I say, standouts for me were Ashley Shaw, so glad I've seen her, Mari Kamata, Adam Maskell and Liam Mower, and these guys I would love to see again. From what I understand, it's been at Cardiff this week. I'm not sure if it's there next week, but then it's going abroad because Newcastle was kind of towards the end of its tour, which is a shame. But Matthew Bourne has recently just announced that he is doing a ballet of the old movie The Red Shoes, which is a ballet movie. It's a movie about ballet, and Ashley Shaw is going to be the main lead in that, like she has been in this. And I can't wait to see it. It hasn't announced dates for Newcastle yet, but when it does, I am certainly going to be booking my tickets. And I think you guys should too, because it was just, Matthew Bourne's just wonderful, and his dance and his performers are amazing. So if you get a chance to see a Matthew Bourne show, please do, because I promise you, you'll enjoy it. Last year I would have said I'll never see a ballet. I'm not a dance ballet fan. I'm all about musicals. But he's really changed my opinion, and I'm actually thinking of possibly going to the Royal Opera House to see an opera, just to widen my horizons a bit more. So yeah, my mind's being opened just from seeing 2 ballets. So that's it for me. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe to me if you're not already for more theatre related videos. I've got one coming up on Legally Blonde very, very soon. And I will see you next time, guys. Bye!